Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some breaking news tonight out of San Antonio, where we've just learned that Six Flags Fiesta Texas is officially closing their Power Surge Shoot the Chutes ride, their boat ride in the back of the park, for next season. It's actually closing up this weekend, and it will no longer be there. So I guess, Dwayne, the question is here, why are they closing this ride, and what possibly could be going into this spot? What are some things that you've been hearing?
Well, I'm going to start with, it seems like this is all we talk about now, which is the RMC stuff, but we saw the story come out where they're going to be doing supposedly 6 projects for next year in North America, and a lot of the speculation says that something from RMC is going to pop up at Fiesta Texas. There are a lot of reports out there that people believe are rumored to be one of the Raptor tracks or T-Rex tracks that we've been talking about on the show quite a lot. Again, we could go back to the whole fact of that could be a capacity nightmare even at Fiesta Texas. So we don't know how much truth's into that. We were just talking about maybe a ground-up coaster for RMC since they don't really have a wooden coaster there, something like Goliath. I know you mentioned that in our pre-show. So, there's a lot of different ways that reasons why this could be closing, but my guess is obviously for a ride. And as you're going to mention, there's a lot of land back there for a new ride to go into.
Yeah, especially the area that we're talking about is right next to Superman Krypton coaster. So you have the entire back of the park. You have the quarry wall that they have been known to build up onto that for a number of different rides. We see it with Rattler. We see it with Superman a little bit. So we see that area being used extensively, and there's a lot of land back there where I've been there. And I feel like you could build something huge back there if you really wanted to. Now, everyone's going right to the RMC stuff, like you've said. My concern is even a single rail, is even a ground up Goliath-like ride. I'm not saying a clone, but a Goliath-like ride. Is it going to differentiate itself enough from Iron Rattler that people can really get excited by it? I go back to the old rumor that GCI was rumored to be working with Six Flags, a few years back, and that never came to pass. That park is right now missing a wood coaster. It has no wood coaster whatsoever. So if they put in a GCI down there, I think that would do really well in Fiesta Texas. But I think the world is open to us right now, Dwayne, with Fiesta. We also look at maybe they're going to work with B&M. B&M has surprisingly been very, very quiet as of late. And there's a lot of rumors coming into my ears about B&M working with Six Flags, maybe with Magic Mountain, maybe Fiesta. I think a wing rider would do really well at Fiesta Texas, something along the lines of an X-Flight. I'm not talking about, a $23 million ride here. I'm talking about, a $15 million installation, 15 to 17, something on a smaller scale like X-Flight, I think would do really well. Since that market in the South, they don't have a wing rider. The closest wing coaster is probably Dollywood, and I don't think there's a big crossover there. When we get down to it here, it's just like, what exactly is Fiesta doing? I think we're going to find a lot more clues coming up. Dwayne, any other thoughts here on Fiesta?
Well, you make a good point about B&M not being in the picture lately. When we talk about rumors and all of our rumor shows this year, we haven't talked about them at all. And you wonder, like Cedar Point and Cedar Fair, for example, is all on this RMC thing with Mean Streak and Hurler going on. And so the talk of, because it used to be there for a while when Fury was coming out and you had B&M. And before that, it was Intamin with 305 and all of that. So it went from Intamin to B&M. Now it seems like Cedar Fair's on this RMC kick, and where does B&M fall? Because they haven't stopped making coasters. I mean, yes, they're old, and yes, they're doing a lot of stuff in Japan and China and all of the places in Europe. But you wonder if something is just, they're laying under the radar and coming up with some really, I don't know, new ride style, new ride train, new something, launch, standing coaster, launch, whatever, flying coaster. I don't care what it might be. We might see that down at Fiesta Texas because, again, like you said, with this whole RMC thing, does everybody want to fall into the same line as doing what everybody else is doing, or do you want to get out on a limb and try something new and maybe unique for a lot of the coaster enthusiasts?
And it's funny that you say that, because we have mentioned in the past that that Fiesta seems to be like the proving ground, and there's not a whole lot to that. You know, we say that because they put the free fly there first, you know, and it did really well. So maybe they're going to try out, like you said, a new B&M concept or other new concept. You know, the only other thing I've been hearing is the Skywarp concept. And I think the Skywarp is way too similar to the free fly, to the Larson Loop. And it seems like Skyline said they're not announcing that they've sold one, and they're not announcing it to IAPA. And that just doesn't scream Six Flags to me. So I think we can rule out the Skywarp here at least, and say that we're probably going to get a decent-sized roller coaster down at Fiesta. So it's kind of exciting when you look at it that way. But we'll keep you updated here on what the happenings of Six Flags Fiesta Texas. And as always, ride on, Ride Warriors.